All right, let's take a look into the future because today we're going to look at Magic the Gathering cards that can see the future. We're going to start off with I'm going to start off with Corsair Crewfix. This is a 3-mana 2/4 Centaur, and you have to play with the top card of your library revealed. And guess what? If it's a land, you get to play a land off the top of your deck, which then reveals the next card that's coming to your draw. And also, a landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under you control, you are more than welcome to gain another life. All right, next up, let's take, well, this is a bit obvious. I bet this is going to be the card everyone suggests today. Sensei's Divining Top. I swear everyone's going to mention this card. The 1-mana artifact. For 1 mana, you can look at the top 3 cards of your library and put them back in any order. Not only that, you can also draw a card and you put Sensei's Divining Top on top of your deck. Oh, what a surprise. I'm drawing Sensei's Divining Top. Never saw it coming. Evan with Oracle of Moldaya. Today we are looking at any card that would let you know exactly where a card is in your deck, including if it was on the bottom of your deck. Okay, Oracle of Moldaya is a 4-mana 2/2 elf shaman. You may play an additional land on each of your turns and play with the top card of your library revealed. And you can play lands from the top of your library. Wow, it's just a 4-mana. Is this just a 4-mana Corsair Crewfix? Oh, you get an additional land drop. That's the trick. Gotcha. Ooh, that's an old one. Soothsaying. You can even look at your entire deck. I mean, if you have enough mana for it. It's a classic. Oh, they put it on the list. There's a list version of this card too, from Mercadian Masks. A blue and enchantment, 5 mana, shuffle your library. No! We don't want that. That would ruin the whole thing. That ruins the whole show. Fetch lands and shuffling your deck. No, they're banned on today's show. All right, pay X. Look at the top X cards of your library and put them back in any order. Now that is scrying, or I don't know how to describe this. No, I guess it's not scrying. Now we're preordaining of the future. Okay, me and Bruley with actual future sight. We're banging out all the regulars here. 5 mana enchantment. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play the top card of your library. And I think, you know what? Do you think this card would be fair if it was like 4 mana? I feel like 5 mana is too much for this card. I think we could bring this down to 4 mana. Although it would make this card obsolete. Okay, make it quadruple blue, all right? Quadruple blue, Wizards of the Coast, make it happen. What about telepathy? It's kind of it's not. No, that's a mind reading thing. That's when you're reading someone's mind. I know you know that I have what you know that I have what you know. I probably didn't say that correctly. Final Fortune, because someone will lose at the end of the turn. Well, we're not looking not that type of future. Little Deadfly with Bolas' Citadel. This is a 6-mana legendary artifact. You can look at the top card of your deck anytime, and you may play the top card of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. And also sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. Bet it for everyone who lost. I most definitely gain. Oh boy. With Limb Duel Vault. Limb Duel's Vault? What's in that vault? Hopefully goodies. 2 mana instant. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Now, as many times as you choose, you may pay 1 life. Put those cards on the bottom of your library in any order. Then look at the top 5 cards of your library. Then shuffle your library and put the last cards you looked at this way on top of any order. Okay, so the cards on the bottom, they get reshuffled, but the top 5 cards, you always get to keep it. That is such a weirdly worded card, but you know what? It all works out in the end. Future Sight, blue, blue, blue. Oh, Future Sight. Yeah, make it happen. Steve Cooper. Cozy up to Wizards of the Coast. Doomsday. You'll definitely predict the future here. 3 mana sorcery. Search your library and graveyard for 5 cards. Exile the rest. Put the chosen cards on top of your library because that is your new deck. And you lose life. You lose half your life rounded up. You didn't need that life anyway because you intend on winning next turn. John with Zur's Weirding. Well, that's weirding me out. So there's weirding. 4 mana enchantment. Players would play with their hands revealed. If a player would draw a card, they reveal it instead. Then any other player may pay 2 life. If a player does, put that card into its owner's graveyard. Otherwise, that player draws a card. Actually doesn't predict the future. Everyone's learning the future as it happens. Next up, let's... Oh, there we go. Julian with Oust. Where's Oust? Oh, there's too many Oust cards in this game. There we go. This was like... Believe it or not, this was a highly played card in Modern at one point. It's a white sorcery. Put target creature into its owner's library second from the top. Its controller gains 3 life, which is, well, actually the life is usually useless. My opponent would always be a control deck, and they don't care if my life total is at 23, 50, or 5. It's all basically the same to them. And yeah, we're gonna know. I know my creature's coming up soon, unless they play Demolition Field, and then I'm screwed. Simple as that. Or sorry, Field of Ruin. Field of Ruin, that is what screwed me over and over again. Binovsky, Field of Dreams. Guess how much money this is. This is crazy. Okay, I'll read the card first. It's a blue enchant world. The top card of each player's library is always face up. Wait, that's the ancient scripture anyhow. Some people say that the world is round. And if you travel far enough, you'll come to the other side where everything is upside down. That is... It's not how it works, but, you know, okay, sure. Anyway, this thing, believe it or not, is $140. It's $140. How? Why? It's a unique effect. It is on the reserved list. I think there's more powerful cards on the reserved list. I don't believe a second that people are taking this card seriously outside of, I don't know, someone's bank account, someone's safe. Yeah, it's like $100. You know, the average between these two, 200 and 100. You got it. We got Dangerous One. Thanks so much for your super chat, Dangerous One. Enter the Infinite. This doesn't really predict anything. Draw cards. It's just gigantic card draw. You don't. Oh, hold on. Cards from the hand on top. Draw cards equal the number of cards in your library. Then put a card. Oh, it does. Then you put a singular card from your hand on top of your library. Okay, do you know what? This actually works. Yeah, I got. You got there in the second half. What can I say? Or you got there. You got there in the middle. You have no maximum hand size until your next turn. You have one. You get to know exactly what you're going to draw next turn. It's probably a land. You also get to know that you don't deck yourself by next turn. Next up, let's take a look at Evan with the Sylvan Sylvan Library. Just goes to show, like, if you can manipulate your deck at all, it seems to be on this show. It's a 2-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards, and if you do, choose 2 cards in your hand drawn this turn. It's got to be the cards that you drew, so it has to be like on a separate pile. Don't touch your hand with those cards. And then for each of those cards, you got to pay 4 life or put the card on top of your library. Christopher B, Precognition Field. Precognition Field is a 4-mana enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library. Why not? You may cast the top card of your library if it's an instant or sorcery card. Also pay 3 mana, exile the top card of your library. With infinite mana, you can go find exactly what you want out of this card. Pretty nifty. Look at that. Look, this is such a powerful effect. Basically draw into whatever you want. You see? You see? Coffee Crew? Sensei's Divining Top, take 2. That's our second Sensei's Divining Top so far. I have a feeling. Toilet Duck, side quest, catch a fish. Is that real? Catch a fish. It's a real card. It's a 3-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's an artifact or a creature card, you can reveal it and put it in your hand. If you put a card into your hand this way, create a food token and transform this enchantment. Look at the top card of your library at your upkeep. Okay, I guess technically. So if it's not a artifact or creature, I guess you just put it back. You're honestly not really predicting the future for a very long period of time. It's literally the time between your upkeep and your draw step. Very, very weak suggestion. Oh, we can get a heavily played Field of Dreams on TCG Player for $80. There we go. Value. Heavily played. Been through the wash a few times. Maybe chewed up by the dog. Benovsky, thanks so much for your super chat. Psychic Network. $140 cheaper than Field of Dreams. There we go. Strictly cheaper versions of Magic the Gathering cards. And this one is also... This is not even real. The blue enchantment, each player reveals the top card of their deck to all players by continuously holding it against his or her forehead. Oh, this is so weird. This does not allow a player to look at their own card. Is this? Huh? I don't get it. They reveal the top card of their library to all players by continuously holding against their forehead. Oh, so this is that sort of game where you have something stuck to your forehead. Everyone gets to see. It does. You know what? I'm going to count it. You don't know what's coming on top of your deck, but you can see the future of somebody else's deck, and that counts all the same. Ooh, it's Sensei's Divining Top, take 3. There's 3 people who have suggested Sensei's Divining Top. We got Evil Gibson, Prophecy, the card. Prophecy. Yeah, not the set. The actual card. Look how evil that eye is. It's a white sorcery. Reveal the top card of target opponent's library to all players. If it is a land, gain 1 life. That opponent then shuffles their library. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. Well, that actually doesn't count. You can't shuffle at the end, because then you can't predict the future. We're literally just revealing a card and then throwing it away. And then we don't know what they draw. They could draw anything. Or hold on, sorry. No, you're drawing the card. But we don't know what they're drawing. Believe it or not, Neo Genesis, we have not got to Ponder yet. The only thing I can't predict is what art people are going to play with Ponder. Blue Sorcery, look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. You may shuffle. Ideally, you don't. And then you get to draw exactly what you wanted off the top. Still banned in Modern. Ponder did nothing wrong. Ponder did nothing wrong. Frankly, I understand. Blue-red Storm, it was a big deck in Modern at one point, and maybe blue is too strong, but when Storm got hammered by anti-Storm cards, I think it was time to unban Ponder. But anyway, still banned for no reason. Uncards do not count unless you super chat. You got to pay for the uncards. That's how it works around here. Jesus, moment of truth. The truth of the matter is, you cannot handle the truth. 2 mana for an instant. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand and one into your graveyard and one on the bottom of your library. Dude, it's important to know what's on the bottom of your library. Some decks take advantage of that. They draw from the bottom of their deck. Maybe that should have been the show. I wonder how many cards put cards on the bottom of your library. That would have been a very, very interesting show. Rated Lex, thank you very much for this banger super chat. We got Jorah of the Gitu. You got to see which card will be cast in a few turns. So this is a 3 mana 2/2 human wizard. And if I remember correctly, is this card good or is it really bad? I want to say this is very familiar looking, but I don't know if it's because it's good or because I've seen it so many times in the bulk bin. It's always one of the two for me. Pay 2, exile a non-land card from your hand. Put 4 time counters on the exiled card. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. We're not predicting anything, unfortunately, with this card. We're gonna have to donate that one. Sorry about that, Rated Lex. You get to see which card will be cast in a few turns. It's not the same. It's not. We want it. We're trying to predict what's going on in the deck. We got the Bread and Cheese Man Index. The crappiest and yet one of the deepest cantrips in the game. And by cantrip, I mean, I guess, prophecy cards, because it doesn't actually draw a card. Blue Sorcery, loot the top 5 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. Next up, we got Dangerous One. How dangerous are you? Approach to the Second Sun. Yeah, talk about foreseeing the future. Also, just foreseeing your absolute doom. 7 mana sorcery. If it was cast from your hand and you've cast another spell named Approach of the Second Sun this game, you win the game. Otherwise, put Approach of the Second Sun into its owner's library, 7th from the top, and you also gain 7 life. That's right. In 7 more turns, I will approach the sun once again. The sun in the palm of my hand. Bell with the Lantern of Insight. I'm sorry to admit, I had a Lantern control deck. I'm sorry! It wasn't fun for me or my opponents. How could you, Bell? How could you not see this coming? It literally is. The deck was branded as the type of deck that sucked the soul out of everybody. 1-mana artifact. Each player plays with the top card of their library revealed, and you can tap, sacrifice the Lantern of Insight, and make the opponent shuffle their library. Not that they use that very often. And the whole point with the Lantern of Insight card is they'd play other cards like Codex Shredder that could make you mill the top card of your deck into the graveyard. It was like an artifact that you tap to do this. So you'd make sure your opponent never drew anything good, only draw garbage. Okay, Toilet Duck, I think, is looking for some redemption. 3-tree battalion. 3-tree. Where's the battalion? Oh. What are these weird cards? Oh, this is an arena card. 4 mana instant. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You can put a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield, then conjure a duplicate of that card onto the battlefield. The duplicate perpetually has base power and toughness 1/1. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a, but this random. You may put a creature card value 3 among them onto the battlefield. Oh, you don't predict the future. So the whole point of today's show is being able to know exactly what's going on, to know exactly what you're going to draw, or you know the position of cards in your deck. This is, you're just ripping cards from your deck onto the battlefield. If you got to put them onto the bottom of your deck in a specific order, I would count it though, but you don't. I guess you have some idea what cards are on the bottom, but not in exact order. Let's end with Cogwork Spy. It's a 3-mana 2/1 bird construct. Reveal Cogwork Spy as you draft it. You may look at the next card drafted from this booster pack. Huh? You may look at the next card drafted. You know what? I'll allow it. That is weird. So you get to see, I guess, how your opponent is building their deck in some capacity. I'll allow it. It's not exactly what I had in mind, but I like it. Varg, donation for Rando. Thanks for the show. You're welcome, Varg. Thank you very much for the donation. Let's give this donation to Jackal. Etrata, the silencer. You got a shush around here. We got 4 mana. This is the librarian master. You be quiet in the library. It's a 4 mana 3/5 vampire assassin. Can't be blocked. Whenever Etrata deals combat damage to a player, exile target creature that player controls and put a hit counter on that card. That player loses the game if they own 3 or more exiled cards with hit counters. Errata's owner shuffles errata into their library. Does not count. We gotta give this super chat to someone else now. Let's give it to a Blackbird. Joe Han, Apprentice Sorcerer. So we have a 4 mana 2/5 human wizard. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You know, once each turn, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from the top of your library. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And by the way, if you have a card like this on the battlefield, it's like you have an extra card in your hand the entire time. Your hand has extended by 1 card. I can't say you always can play with the card on top of your deck, but, you know, something like that. Next, let's Benjamin Berkeley with Cruel Fate. 5 mana sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. Put one of them into your opponent's discard pile and the rest on top of their deck in any order. Wow! You know, This card looks like absolute jank, but if someone played this versus me, it would probably be absolutely backbreaking. They would put all my good stuff into the graveyard and just leave a pile of lands on top of my deck, just depriving me of 3 turns. Steve Cooper. Sensei Divine Top. Oh, you're just kidding. Oh, you're a funny person, aren't you, Steve Cooper? You want Mystic Forge. And Dono 2 to the chat. You got it. Okay, Mystic Forge. 4-mana artifact. You can look at the top card of your library anytime. Very broken card, actually. This card seen a lot of really powerful tournament play. Restricted in Vintage, by the way. You may cast artifact spells and colorless spells from the top of your library. Tap, pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library. Did this come out? Where's the origin story for this card? Oh, it just came out in M20. I was just thinking. Oh yeah, it's more of an artifact card, but it says you can cast if it's an artifact card or a colorless non-land card. That means Eldrazi's. So Eldrazi's like Mystic. They like being forged. They like being forged. We did Future Sight. Okay, we got 2 super chats to give away. We'll give one to Jess. Scroll Rack. Scroll Rack, 2-mana artifact, pay 1, tap, exile any number of cards from your hand face down. Put that many cards from the top of your library into your hand, then look at the exiled cards and put them on top of your library in any order. Absolutely counts. You'll know exactly what you're drawing here. Ooh, I like this one, Christopher B, because it's a merfolk. Emperor! Mihail! The second. I don't know who's the first. 3-mana, 3/3 Merfolk Noble. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. And you know what? If it's a Merfolk, you can cast that spell. You can cast Merfolk spells from the top of your library. And then whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you may pay 1. If you do, you create a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token. I love Merfolk creature tokens. Predict? Hold on, I think that can work. Hold on. I think if you're wrong, you just get to know what's on top of the deck, right? 2-mana instant, choose a card name, then target player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. Oh no, that doesn't count. Sorry. This is what you play after you already know you can see the future. You're just gambling at this point. Okay, we'll give that the donated super chat to Tresaru Doom Whisperer. Whispering the words of doom. 5-mana, 6/6 Nightmare Demon, Flying Trample, pay 2 life. You get to Surveil too. Wow. I mean, you know, I guess how much you could pay. You could pay a lot of life. You can get through a lot of your deck. You can pay 38 life, get through 38 cards. Yeah. Okay. Surveilling is so you look at the top 2 cards of your library, and you can either like leave it on top, you dump it into the graveyard. We did say Soothsaying. It was a beautiful card. Really beautiful. Ancestral knowledge. Okay, hold on. Okay, the Fox Clouds, Ancestral Knowledge. Knowledge. 2 mana. It's got cumulative upkeep of 1. It's an enchantment. Now, when it comes into play, look at the top 10 cards of your library, then remove any number of them from the game, and put the rest on the top of your library in any order. If Ancestral Knowledge leaves play, oh no, you have to shuffle your library. I was like, what's the downside here? If you pay 2 mana and manipulate the top 10 cards of your deck, like, isn't the damage done? But oh, if you have to pay. You have to pay to get the cards. Yeah, this is not bad. I think even in the late game, this is like a super cantrip. And you just to even have like 3 great cards on top of your deck, 10 cards deep, I think is actually worth it. This is a very nice card. I like this card. It's part of the reserve list too. Okay, we got Banovsky. Dono to Houston, 420. Okay, let's look for Houston 420. What you got for us, Houston? Houston, there is a problem. You know, if you're gonna get here we go. Maybe original Thamogif first Planeswalker mention. Thamo GIF. Oops, I didn't spell this right. I don't even know what a Thamo GIF is. You mean the original Tarmogoyf? I don't get it. Houston. You have another card that I can't see. What's Houston's card? Do super chat on behalf of somebody else. I hope it's clear. You can also just give me the card. He means the Tarmogoyf. Does not actually count for this show. Yes, it prophesies like planeswalkers, but it doesn't really see what's on top of your deck. So that was a fail. Okay, let's give that super chat to David. How about you? Would like a super chat? The Brutal Deceiver. Oh, it's gonna get brutal here. That's creepy. Look, we got a face over here. We have a face over here and a face over here. 3 mana 2/2 spirit. Pay 1. Look at the top card of your library. I have to pay for this? A lot of cards let me do that for free. Pay 2, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, Brutal Deceiver gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Plays ability only once each turn. Wow. They don't let me abuse this thing. Give me infinite mana. If I have infinite mana, let me just win like this. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, look, it's a very look at it card. You look at it. Cycle Michael Ing, we already did that one. Okay, this is freebie. The Kami are strange. Bunch of weird folk. Excited Raichu with Lapse of Certainty. Lapse of... It technically lets you know top decks. Well, that technically works for today's show. I love cards like this. 3 mana instant. Counter target spell. You're countered. If that spell is countered this way, put it on the top of its owner's library instead of into its player's graveyard. It's like it's white memory lapse. Why don't white players play this card? That spell's countered this way, put it on top of its owner's library. This card's great. I mean, it's 3 mana. But, you know, white doesn't have a whole lot of counter spells working for them. If I were in white, I actually might want to play this card. Does anyone even know this exists? I'll have everyone know that Memory Lapse was banned. It was straight up banned in, I think, Historic or something like that. Augur of Autumn from Bell. We have a 3 mana 2/3 Human Druid. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. Beautiful. And you may play lands from the top of your library. It's another one of those. But it has Coven. As long as you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. That's fantastic. Now that's value. You have to have 3 or more creatures with different powers. I love having different powers. I like having a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a... No, okay, not 1 power, 2 power, 3 power creatures. We did Mystic Forge. Christopher B with Fibblethip. Lost on the Range. Lost on the Range. 3 mana, 1/1, Ward 2. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. The top card of your library has Plot. The plot cost is equal to its mana cost. You may plot non-land cards from the top of your library. Why not? It's actually quite good. Now, this is like a 3 mana future sight. What's the difference? Oh, I guess that's just the plot thing. Yeah, I guess that's plot. You have to. It's a slow future sight. It's a slow sight. It's a slow future in the future. Yeah, it's a slow future in the future. Works out for me. Okay, we're gonna look at more Magic the Gathering cards that see the future. But we gotta thank our sponsor today. We gotta thank FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite place to buy Magic the Gathering cards, including Ether Drift cards. If you love your vehicles, you like moving fast and furious. If you're a fan of the Fast and Furious, well, this is basically the rip-off of that in Magic the Gathering form. Oh, they got the deal of the week now on the front. Deal of the week, save 15% off all Secret Lairs, singles, and box sets. And you might say, Nikachu, you know, I love Secret Lairs, but 15% off, maybe that's not enough. I need a little bit more. Well, I got a little bit more for you. You can use coupon code Nikachu also to get an additional 5% off all your purchases at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards on the digital client Magic Online, where you can play Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Pauper, Legacy, Vintage, Commander, One-on-One Commander. You got it? You can play all the paper formats on Magic Online. But guess what? You don't have to own an entire collection to play all the decks in all formats when you're renting with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using coupon code Nikachu F08 to get 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription. And now we go back to cards that foresee the future. And they say the future is very grim out there. I'll go with Double Take. Does it count? Well, you didn't pay for it, so it's a silver border card. I'm not giving silver border cards for free, that's for sure. We got Toilet Duck Skill Borrower. Who has no card yet, by the way? 3 mana artifact. It's a 1/3 human wizard. Play with the top card of your library revealed. There's a lot of these cards. I didn't realize how many. As long as the top card of your library is an artifact or a creature card, Skill Borrower has all activated abilities of that card. There's got to be some way to abuse this. This has to be a combo card of some sort, where you like just it's got what's that? That goblin. There's that can't remember what that stupid goblin's name is. Yeah, it could danger. It reminds me of the goblin, where it absorbs all the activated abilities of a goblin on top of your deck. Anyway, so I think that's one very, very interesting. Technically, Omniscience. Future is I win. Nope, that definitely doesn't work. 1 with the multiverse. Wait, you're gonna have to tie it with Bryce. You both said it at the same time. All right, so Pegman and Bryce, they get 1 with the multiverse. 8 mana enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You can play land cards and cast spells from the top of your library. What is the difference between this and just the card top of my deck being part of my hand? Once during each of your turns, you may cast a spell from your hand or the top of your library without paying its mana cost. You tell me I can have it for free? Frankly, at 8 mana, I don't think I have anything left in my hand. But it's blue, so maybe I drew a bunch of cards. Just a random mage with the 10th Doctor. 5 mana for a 3/5 Time Lord Doctor. Elionzi? I don't know if I pronounced that right. Whenever you attack, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. Put 3 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. You exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. Does not count for this show. I understand, like, it feels like you're gonna predict the future. Like, everyone sees this though. We're just talking about cards that are in the deck. You can predict the cards in the deck. Important from Benjamin Berkeley. It's similar to Cruel Fate, but cheaper, and you can target yourself, not just your opponent. Never heard of Cruel Fate. Blue sorcery, look at the top 3 cards of target player's library. You can put them back in any order. Then you may have that player shuffle. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. I find it fascinating that you're saying it's similar to Cruel Fate, but you don't think it's similar to Ponder? It's literally like slightly slow Ponder. Same thing. Except you can, like, I guess, manipulate your opponent's deck a little bit or something. Vac. Mesmeric Sliver. Fate Seal absolutely counts. Fate Seal is totally on the cards for today's show. 4 mana 2/2. All slivers have, when this permanent comes into play, you may Fate Seal 1. Some people might be scared of the sound of that. Evan, thanks so much for your super chat. The Cauldron of Eternity. It'll last forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever again. Okay, we have a 12 mana legendary artifact. It costs 2 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard, though. It won't be so expensive. Whenever a creature you control dies, you may put it on the bottom of its owner's library. Okay! And then 3 mana, tap, pay 2 life, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Now, this card is going to count because you will know the creature is on the bottom of your library. That is how this card counts. It will take a long time for you to draw to the bottom of your library. Or maybe there are some cards that let you draw from the bottom of your library. That works too. David with Chittering Illuminator. Does that... Oh, I was like, if it's chittering, it must be a squirrel. 3 mana, 3/3. As long as Chittering Illuminator is at the top of your library, you may look at it at any time. You may cast it. Oh, is that the flavor? If it's on top of your deck, it like illuminates and shows you. As long as the top card of your library is a creature card, you may cast it anytime you may cast it. Interesting. I think I just got the flavor. Yeah, we did Oracle. Okay, let's get Danny God, Eternal, Oketra. I can see the future of myself being there. 5 mana for a 3/6 double striking zombie god. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 4/4 black zombie creature warrior token with vigilance. And when Oketra dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it into its owner's library, third from the top. They can count it down. 3, 2, 1. Oh, the god is back. Okay, this is what I like. If we're counting the bottom of the library, which we are absolutely stomping slabs. What the hell card is this? 3 mana sorcery. Reveal the top 7 cards of your library, then put those cards on the bottom of your library in any order. Ah, yes. Back in the day when you could put things on the bottom of your library in any order. If a card named Stomping Slabs was revealed this way, Stomping Slabs deals 7 damage to target creature or player? How do we multiply this card? Or have like a really shrunken deck? If a card named Stomping Slabs, interesting. Very, very interesting. And the idea is you could like, if you find that Stomping Slabs, you're going to want to put it on top of all the other cards from the bottom, so you can keep finding more Stomping Slabs. This is a wild card. So weird too. Dustin with Vanishment. It's got a miracle cost. It's 5 mana, but maybe you can pay it for 1. Put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. No, that doesn't count. This card itself. Oh, so hon. No, it does count. Sorry about that. So yeah, put target non-land on top of its owner's library, so we'll all know about it. Yeah. What a surprise! What's on top of your deck? Yeah, it counts. It counts. I take it back. I'm wrong. Nikachu is wrong. Reading the card explains the card. Reading the card explains the show. Conspicuous Snoop. That's what I was thinking about earlier. Conspicuous Snooperinos. 2 mana for a 2/2 Goblin Rogue. Play with the top card of your library revealed, and you can cast Goblin spells from the top of your library. But for as long as the top card of your library is a Goblin card, Conspicuous Snoop has all activated abilities of that card. You should be very... It's honestly not that conspicuous, because we see what's on top of the deck. Everyone gets to see what's on top of the deck. Shivan Meteor, the future is a freaking rock. Is that the last card? Oh no. Okay, let's look at Shivan Meteor by Arian. Oh my god! Look at this. Who would win? This gigantic flying meteor coming at like, 500 miles per hour, or this tiny soldier? I don't think so. Okay, 5 mana. Sorcery. Shivan Meteor deals 13 damage to target creature. Oh, we're not counting suspend cards today. No. Suspend no countsies. We're only counting cards that we can see, or we know in what... We're only counting cards that we know the position of in our deck. That's basically the theme of today's show. Vec with Sealed Fate. Shivan Meteor plus Pyrohammer is wild. What is this? Okay, black, blue, X, sorcery. Look at the top X cards of target opponent's library. Remove one of those cards from the game and put the rest back on top of that player's library in 80 order. That is incredibly fiendish, devilish plan you might have. If you have enough mana, you'll basically... Well, you can only remove one of them, though. But you can... If you can go deep enough, if you have enough mana, you just be like, stack 20 lands on top of their deck. Guess how I stacked your deck. Tricero on Conspicuous Snoop. It is conspicuous. Inconspicuous means it's sneaky. Ah. You're right. Hexanort wants the second card. Netherest Puzzle Ward. The big evil jeweled eye. It's a 4-mana enchantment. It's got Focus Beam. At the beginning of your upkeep, roll a d4. And then you get to scry X, where X is the result. It's got the perfect illumination, though. Whenever you roll a die's highest natural result, draw a card. So if we roll 20 on our d20, we're doing great here. Okay, so you want Goblin Spy. You want to redeem yourself, Arian. Okay, Goblin Spy. Red, 1/1. Play with the top card of your library revealed. It works! Goblin that lets you see. This is a bad conspicuous Snoop. Very, 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 very bad. Indiana, Glasses of Urza. Now we're getting like a little creative here. There's also Sunglasses of Urza. Artifact, pay 1. Look at target play. Oh, it doesn't count. Target player's hand. It has to look at the library. If you look at the top card of their library, that would work. Does the Sunglasses of Urza do that? No, that converts white mana to red mana. No countsies. Ooh, real different out there. Choosing Lens of Clarity. 1 mana artifact. When you look at the top card of your library and at face down creatures you don't control, you get to see exactly what's going on here. You pull. What do they say in Scooby-Doo? Let's see who's really under that mask. That's Old Man Witherby. Next, let's take a look at Didam Draws. Herald's Horn. Herald's Horn is a 3-mana artifact. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creature spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. And at the beginning of your upkeep, loot the top card of your library. If it's a creature card of the chosen type, you may reveal it and put it in your hand. Does not predict. Not even for one. It doesn't even stay on top of your deck, even for a step. Not even a phase. Any unsleeved double face card. Islarv's like, shout out to the Yu-Gi-Oh card Convulsion of Nature. Players flip their library upside down and continue playing as if that bottom is now the top. Yep. I've heard of it. I guess we give another one to Christopher B, who's on a roll today. Melek. Is it Paragon? 6 mana for a 2/4. A weird wizard. Very weird. Likes being weird. He probably listens to a lot of Weird Al. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may cast instant and sorcery spells from the top of your library. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your library, you get to copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. A lot of value out of this card. I would, if you let your opponent untap with this card, it might at danger. It might. Christopher B, I chose this card to start the show. Mind Moil from the Bread and Cheese Man. This is a 5-mana enchantment. Whenever you play a spell, put the cards in your hand on the bottom of your library in any order, then draw that many cards. So I cast the spell. You have to put all the cards? Put the cards in your hand? Yeah, you have to. That is a very, very fascinating card. I basically draw a bunch of cards, but I'm not allowed to keep any of them because every single time I play a spell, I have to get rid of them. Very interesting. Weird Al mentioned, Cultured. Oh, I used to love Weird Al when I was a kid. I was a big Weird Al fan. You might even say that made me a little weird, but you know what? I stuck through it. Believe it or not, I didn't really get bullied for it either. Turns out, yeah, we like Weird Al too. Jess, with the Wizened Snitches. How many Snitches cards are there? Wizened Snitches, 4-mana, 1/3 Fairy Rogue flying. Players play with the top of their libraries revealed. Should probably also say players play with their hands revealed too. Imagine that. That's got to be a card. Everyone reveals their hand and the top card of their library. That will work out perfectly. Perfect chaos. Islarf wants to get in on here with the Snarling Gorehound. My favorite MKM card. Black 1/1 dog. I got the dog sound effect. It's got Menace. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you can surveil 1. It's got to have power 2 or less. It's got Menace. This is not a very big card, though. It's just a 1/1. Surveilling nonetheless, though. Toilet Duck really wants to get committed memory on here. Commit. Put target spell or non-land permanent into its owner's library. Second from the top. What does memory do again? 6 mana. It's got Aftermath, so you can cast it from the graveyard. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. Crazy. So it's Time Twister. Look, it's budget. It's super budget Time Twister. Maybe we should have a show like that. The like budget substitutes for the like largest degrees in like value. Time Twister, $8,000. Memory, $1. Very big differences. Hate Aftermath layout. Yeah, me too. It's just, this is so jarring. You know what? Now these days, I don't know what they would do. They wouldn't put it on the other side of the card, though, I don't think. I don't know what they would do. It should just be a split card. There was nothing wrong with those split cards like Fire and Ice. There was nothing wrong. Real different with Johan. But you probably can start telling me no 2 cards yet, no 3 cards yet at this point. In Christopher B's case, maybe no 5 cards yet. 4 mana for a 2/5. Oh no, we looked at this card. Sorry about that. Not that you got sniped or anything. Benjamin Berkeley, cream of the crop. 2-mana enchantment. Whenever a creature comes into play under your control, you may look at the top X cards of your library, where X is that creature's power. If you do, put one of those cards on top of your library and rest on the bottom of your library in any order. If anything, you're searching. You're searching for that cream of the crop. But you know what they say, the cream always rises to the top. Blackbird says, would you want me to make the farm at the Sentinel base, or should I make my own spot and put a portal there? What the? Are you in the right chat? Alex says, Nikachu, I see your future. It's a Magic the Gathering filled. Oh, thank you very much. Or, oh god, it almost sounds cursed. Yeah, I can't believe I've stuck to this game for like the 13 years straight that I've given it. Oh my goodness. I could have been a doctor or something in that time. Dustin, playing with fire. It's an all right burn card. It's playing. I know what you're talking about. Huh? Playing with fire? Something with fire, right? I know what you're talking about. Play with fire. That's what it's. Play with fire. Red instant. Deals 2 damage to any target, and if a player is dealt damage this way, you get to scry 1. This actually saw a lot of play in Pioneer. I think it saw a decent chunk of play in... Actually, I can't say about Standard, because I think this was during COVID when there was barely any Standard activity at all. If we had a Chaotic card stream yet? We've had a few. We've had a lot of cards that are just chaos. The Damn Draws. Bronze Walrus. 3 mana 2/2. It adds mana. And when it enters the battlefield, it scries 2. I think this should have been just 2 mana. This is borderline unplayable at 3 mana. 3 mana for a mana rock is like 12 thumbs down. Like that's so 2013. It's no good here. There's probably worse things you could take up with your time. You could be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't give me flack. Oh, don't you know? You know, Steve Cooper. Half our audience is Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. I don't know how I've attracted them all, but that's where we are right now. The Walrus flops over and adds mana. I guess so. Nikachu, if the Aftermath cards looked like normal split cards, it wouldn't be clear at a glance that they are mechanically different than those. No, they could just give it like a different textured frame. It would make it easy. It's not that complicated. I think it's easy. Indiana Jones with Miri's Guile. That's a green enchantment. During your upkeep, you may look at the top 3 cards of your library and put them back in any order. That's insane. And it's good money. I think I've lightly heard of this card. Wow. This is a blue player's dream in green. It's completely nuts. We did Lantern of Insight. It's so good. Is it on the reserve list? It's not. It's just an old card that's barely been reprinted. Oh, it's $10 in Mystery Booster too. They brought it back. That doesn't look right to me. You know, the Future Sight frame, sometimes it makes cards look better. Sometimes it makes cards way worse. The Gozen says, is this a Merfolk stream where cards see the future? We have a bunch of comedians in chat. Old boy with Dwarven Recruiter. How do I do this? We need recruiters for the mines. We gotta mine that gold. Okay, 3 mana for a 2/2 dwarf. It comes into play. Search your library for any number of dwarf cards and reveal those cards. Shuffle your library, then put them on top in any order. Gotta recruiting the dwarves. Search your library for any number of dwarf cards. This sounds broken. And the only thing keeping it from not being broken is probably there's no dwarves. Like almost no dwarves in the game. For any number of dwarf cards and put them on top of your deck in any order. Yeah, like Goblin Recruiter. Now I understand that it's like 2 mana. It's banned in Legacy. This card is not that much different. Anyway, that's wild. Garrick's Horde by Jess. Seven mana for a 7/7 beast with trample. Also play with the top of your library revealed. That is weird. You may cast the top card of your library if it's a creature card. Well, it's simple but genius. What is this? Welcome deck? I've never heard of a welcome deck. It's a 19-cent card. Okay, it came from M12 and it got reprinted in the welcome deck of 2017. Welcome! Welcome, traveler. Oh, Daniel, with the Sphinx of Jwar Isle. The 6 mana 5/5 Flying Shroud. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. I like cards like this. Actually, well, I like and hate these cards because I like it because I get to look at the top of my deck over everybody else. I can do it anytime. It defeats the stack. I can do this. I can do this when my opponent's playing spells. I can do it. I don't even need priority. Though the bad part about this is I can sometimes forget I have this power and I don't even use it. Old boy says, whenever Wizards of the Coast decides to print a dwarf deck or set, the card's price will go through the roof. Yeah, was that a rare? Let's get back to this. It is an uncommon. Anyway, it's not a good card to spec on. Could become a rare one day. You never know. Vinovsky with contingency plan. You need a contingency plan. 2 mana sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest back on the top of your library in any order. Pabno, thank you very much for your super chat. Probably get buzzed, but you are already dead. Why are you gambling then? Black instant. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Draw a card. This has absolutely nothing to do with the show. You are correct. Okay, we're going to... There is no way you have no card yet because it was ignored for being a silver. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, well, you get the super chat. Mindslaver. It can be used to invoke Rule 106B, thus predicting future tournaments. I don't think that works like that. You control target player during that player's next turn. I will also disqualify this. Elga, you're pushing the boundaries of the show. Stop, you're already buzzed. Do we have anyone else? We have any new business? New business? Okay, old business. Might as well give to damn draws. Cracked skull. Okay, you get the super chat then. 3 mana, aura, enchant creature. You love your creature enchantments. You also love your shackles. When Cracked Skull enters, look at target player's hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Whenever enchanted creature is dealt damage, destroy it. Look at target player's hand. No, this doesn't count either. It needs to be cut. There we go. Sage Owl. We have been saved. The super chat has not gone to waste. I know what this card does. Behold! Do we have a better art? Nope, this is as good as it's gonna get. Okay, 2 mana for a 1/1 bird flying. When it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 4 cards of your library, and then you put them back in any order. That's how powerful that card is. Eris, we got new blood in chat. Changeling Outcast. Yeah, super classic. It's super classic. I'm sure there are some people out there, they have millions of those Sage Owls. Changeling Outcast, a black for a 1/1. Can't be blocked or can be blocked. Nope, that doesn't. Okay, so the show is about being able to know exactly where cards are in your deck. We've done Ponder. Ooh, the invasion of Pyrulia? Where the hell is that? 2 mana for a siege with 4 defense. When it enters the battlefield, scry 3, then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land or double face card, draw a card. And then what's on the backside? We've got a 4/4 Trampler with Ward 2, and then other transformed permanents you control have Trample and Ward 2. Transformed creatures unite. What about River Song? Please let this be. Bro, this 4 strikes, you just got to give it up for the day. You got to give up. 3 mana for a 2/2. You may draw cards from the bottom of your library rather than the top, but we don't know what those cards are. They're still random. Spoilers. Whenever an opponent scries, surveils, or searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on River Song. Then River Song deals damage to that player equal to its power. All right. You have 100% failed today. You're literally 4 out of 4 at losses here. Vampiric Tutor technically counts. Scott the Dark Knight. It's a black instant, so you library for a card and you put it on top. Woohoo! I wonder what I'm going to draw. Ooh, the Library of Lang. From Old Boy. One mana artifact. You have no maximum hand size. If an effect causes you to discard a card, discard it, but you may put it on top of your library instead of into your graveyard. Weird. So I'm like thinking, if you play a card like Wheel of Fortune, then you would like just redraw your hand again. That's a bit odd. Pabno, thank you very much for your super chat. Okay, moving closer. Parallel Thoughts. It's it's that 1/1 wizard thingamabob. 5 mana enchantment. When Parallel Thoughts comes into play, search your library for 7 cards. Remove them from the game in a face down pile and shuffle that pile. Then shuffle your library. If you draw a card, you may instead put the top card of the pile you removed into your hand. Okay, you know what? I can sort of get behind this card. You may not even know exactly what you're drawing, but you just created an extra deck, but it's more refined. In theory, you could put all lands, so you know exactly what you're going to draw. That's what I would do. We got to thin our deck. Search your library for 7 cards. Could be any cards. We got to thin the deck. The Fox Clouds Elemental Augury. But River Song's whole thing is her story is going backwards from the Doctor. Yeah, but she doesn't... the card itself doesn't know what's coming up when she draws the cards. Elemental Augury is a Grixis 3-mana enchantment. And then for 3 mana, the activated ability. Look at the top 3 cards of target player's library, then put them back in any order. This is very expensive for this effect. There's some creatures that do this better, in some sense. Okay, that's it. That was pretty interesting. I like the creativity of this show. There was a lot of unique suggestions. You know, like the card that sucks all. Well, there's all these sorts of very, very bizarre, crazy cards. Okay, but of course, if you want to be part of the show, you have to be here, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Of course, thank you so much to everyone. Oh, you warm my heart to be part of the show. And who financially support the show on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. And of course, thank you, the Zyber Nation, my coffee crew. People like Christopher B, Benjamin Berkeley, Evan, Little Deadfly, Benovsky. We got Lestian, Old Boy, Monster CC, Pabno, The Gozin, Ken Kusha, Steve Cooper, Jess, Varg. Because where would I be without all of you? Thank you so much, Coffee Crew. Thank you so much, Daniel, Bob Talksbridge. Because you are the show. So as usual, my Coffee Crew, keep bringing them coffees. We're going to keep bringing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.